Perfect. All right. Here we go. Just like always, guys, I will have the first 30 minutes, just Ben and I having a conversation. Then I want you guys to play with us, okay? And have some questions for him because it so much more fun when you guys do that. So then I want you guys to play with us. Let me turn that off real quick. That's what I was looking for. And have some questions for him because it so much more fun when you guys do that. So then I want you guys to play with us. Let me turn that off real quick. That's what I was see fun when you guys see my life there. Then I want you guys to play with us. Let me turn that off real quick. And I'm having technical difficulties. Just bear with me. Let me turn that off real quick. And I'm having technical difficulties. Where is it? Here it is. And okay. Is it Wednesday?
It is Wednesday. It's a beautiful day. I mean, if you can't start off with a smile and laughing at yourself, man, this is life.
I'm laughing at myself a lot this morning. You know, it's just my lucky day. I'm like laughing up a storm here. I got a new link for our group. So we are set until end of this year, guys. That will be that link now moving forward. So I apologize for that. And I am so excited to have the one and only Dr. Love, I call him.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Very honored just to even be considered for this series, and excited for, again, being able to talk to you and be able to talk to our agents here at our office. Man, yeah, we got a great culture here. So I'm
really do. And speaking of culture, Mr. Love, you are one of our cultural icons in this office. Last year, you were at Mega Camp honored as the cultural ambassador for our entire region. By the way, that's pretty cool. And that is something that's selected by the region. They select 2, and it's an anonymous process. And you put in kind of all the things, the way they contribute to our people, and you were chosen.
Yeah,
so that was pretty cool.
It was super cool. I mean, because again, that's something that is important to me in my business, right? Like, lead with character, lead with integrity. Look, we're all human. We're all flaws. Accept your things when you make mistakes and move forward. So to be recognized in that, I think that was something that was just really, really special for me.
And, you know, culture is something that's always mattered to you. I know I've known you for a long, long time, and you've always been that cultural person, always engaged in the market center, and always you're somebody who really leads with your heart. So, you know, I don't know if you know, but this year, do you know who's going to be one of the cultural ambassadors for our region? Did you see?
No, I did not.
Jana Love.
See,
it's the name.
It's the name. You just got to love people.
Jana's in our South location. I've known her too since she started, right? And I just love that we've got such great Austin representation from our amazing agents. And so we should really have like a fun passing of the torch. I think that would be fun. Although once you're a cultural ambassador, it's a lifetime thing. So
once an ambassador, always an ambassador.
So Silas, I don't know if you were with us. Jennifer, I don't think you joined yet. And the others, I don't think you were with us, but we actually had at the cultural summit at Mega Camp last year, we streamed it and it's COVID, right? And we're not doing anything live, but we made a little party and Ben had a little, remember that? You had your that
cake,
was fun.
The crown.
You had the crown, you had it all. So we wanted to make it special because I think when you're honored culturally, that's just, you know, anybody, not to minimize numbers, but when you're recognized for your heart and your contributions in life, I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for me, like the Zig Ziglar line, right? Like, if you can help enough people get everything they want, you'll have everything that you want. And that's something I learned at the very beginning of my career. And again, just as somebody who leads with his faith, you know, that's what I'm trying to do. It's just all about serving, right?
Yeah.
Being that servant leadership.
I love that.
And you, by the way, you do that very well.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. I learned from my peers here. So, hey, speaking of, we're playing to win. It's July 2021. We just had this huge announcement the last weekend, right? We are playing to win big time in Austin. And so I love the fact that he has this USA shirt on today because I know what that means. I think I know, at least I'm projecting what it means. But let's go, I like to go a little off topic with different people because I think every guest is so interesting and I want to feature things different and then we'll get into our regular questions. But let's talk about this amazing soccer stadium that just opened up in Austin, Texas. Let's just talk about that for a second, right?
Yeah.
I know Jennifer's a fan. I saw her son got involved in that. That is amazing. First, we got the racetrack. Now we get this amazing soccer stadium. You know, tell us about that.
So again, I think that there's two important things that really come when I think of the Q2 stadium. One, culture, the people and how they come together and unite. And it is all about just supporting this one team and being the energy behind it. Two, the environment, right? Like where you are really, really matters. And the fact is that should be one of the most important things, like whether you're doing it in life, who are you doing life with? What are your relationships going with? And then are you in the right place, right? Can a palm tree grow in Alaska? No. Why? Because it's not the right environment.
Right.
So you have to make sure that that environment that you're in is making you grow as a person, with your character, with your integrity and everything like that. And so this Q2 stadium, I mean, we're already getting the reputation. It's Austin FC, if just in case you guys didn't know.
Sometimes we have viewers from all over the world, so it's good to mention that.
Yeah. So Dolly, ATXA, right? But we're getting the reputation as a soccer city, and like some of the better crowds on the MLS are now looking at us and saying, man, what can we take from them and bring to our stadium? So it's pretty cool and exciting, and it's happening right here in Austin.
5 minutes from this location, by the way, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's like right there by the Domain. I think the first time I drove by it when it was, massively constructed, because a lot of that happened during COVID. It was like, oh my gosh, look at this amazing, extraordinary, gorgeous building, and I have a German husband, and tonight game at 8 p.m. You going?
I will be there. I will be there.
Awesome. Well, I think the first game you said was the USA Women, right? So that's why I say that's also like national and international games will be played there too, not right? Well, that's what they are, but you know what I mean? But how was that? And so I want to talk about playing to win, because the move you made to get season tickets, you could see the vision of the impact this would make on our city, and you got in on the ground level. That's playing to win to me. So let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah. So one of my big things is experiences, right? Like if we're in the relationship business, then that's what I'm really honestly looking to do with my clients.
Yeah, I love that.
Right? Like it's great. I've had season tickets for the Longhorns. I've had for the Austin Spurs. This has been by far the greatest experience as far as season tickets go, and it's a good time to actually spend with my clients, right? Like, hey, come on over, let's do this and get to experience this
together.
Right? And sometimes it's me and my clients. Sometimes it's, hey, here's the 2 tickets, just go and do it, right? Again, and that comes from that selflessness, right? Like, yeah, I would love to go to every game, but I want to again share it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
great.
You want to share it.
Thank you.
I felt it. I felt that word coming from your brain. So, but think about it. You're at the first game. It's USA Women versus Nigeria, I think, right?
Yes.
The energy that must have been palpable in that room, right? And I loved. I saw a bunch of my friends. I saw Jay Papazan there. There was a bunch of people posting selfies with Wendy. You're in the 4th row.
Yeah. Look, the reality of it is if you're going to experience something, go big.
4th row.
I mean, just go big.
VIP. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
that's playing to win. That's playing to win.
It is, and you
can't get those tickets now.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I hope that you can. If not, DM me and we could talk, right? But I just remember Gary always saying, right, like plan your year out, plan your vacations in your calendar a year out, so that this way they're already set. So that was the vision, right? Like people without a vision will perish, right? So constantly thinking, hey, what's the next step? What's the next evolution? How can I give people experience? When this came in,
I love that you did that. I love that you did it. Because think about that, Ben. You're in an arena. Number one, it's an outstanding, gorgeous arena. The way it's constructed with, the way the breeze comes. I mean, it's just beautifully designed.
Top-notch technology, sound, everything.
And yet on the field, you're watching the most incredible soccer players in the world.
Yes.
Cecilio.
Cecilio Dominguez, by the way, and Diego Fagundes.
Okay.
My
so-
boys.
All right, I love it. I love it. I got some homework to study up. But here's what's so cool about that is when you watch a professional athlete and you see their determination, their dedication, they make mistakes too. They fumble. They'll do something wrong. And what do? It's how they respond, how they bounce right back. Because sports is in your head. Like if you get an off game and you tell yourself you're having an off game, you're gonna have an off game, right? That's how we have to look at life every day.
Yeah. One of the most valuable lessons I learned, Chris Suarez, right, told us we're corporate athletes, and right. So taking this into consideration, right, like you get to see the final product. It's a 90-minute game of this beautifully played game, passing, precision, the movements, and you really don't see all of that, the behind the work stuff, right? But previously coming up to these 90-minute games, these guys are practicing 40, 50 hours beforehand.
Yeah.
And if we're playing to win and we're being corporate athletes, right? Like one of the biggest things is role playing and script practices when it comes to real estate, right?
Right.
Like
why do people think they don't need practice?
Because they want to practice on their clients and then don't understand why they're doing 3 or 4 deals a year.
Right.
Well, when you start to role play and script practice and you buy into to what the environment, again, going back to the environment, coming into the office, conversating with other people, learning from other people's mistakes, that's intentional growth. Not just learning from your own, but learning from other people. And you role play, you learn to have better conversations, you learn to ask better questions. Then all that practice, when you get that 1-hour appointment or 30-minute appointment, now you're going to play either at an all-star level, and the numbers will show up.
Yeah. The numbers will, I know we're both getting attacked by this changing weather. And the numbers will show up because you and I were just looking at some of our reports that just came in for June, and holy moly.
Holy moly.
What our agents did is unbelievable in the month of June, just in one office. That's not even citywide, KW.
Environment, right? Like, again, what is the environment? I can tell you, if you come to the office and you start asking people, what are you doing? This is a cultural office. People are willing to share. Big time producers that are just like, here's what I'm doing, right? Yeah. But you have to be
kind of like tonight at 6 o'clock. What's happening?
Oh, School of Listings, you guys. That's right. 6 p.m. Right? Victor Nino of the Nino brothers, right? Coco Vargas. These are big time listers, big time players who have been in the end. Well, there's Ben Love too. Yeah. I'll be the MC.
The entertainment.
We'll be the MC. But this is the opportunity that, again, is being presented. Now, you guys have the choice. Do I want to take this and take my skill level to the next level? Or, hey, that's great, but I got other stuff I got to do.
Right.
Priorities.
And that's why I love that we have our studio audience, because I love to see who shows up for this every week, right?
Yeah.
And these guys are playing to win because they're here to sharpen their skill and to learn from masters in the market right now. And that's what our conversations are every week about this. So I applaud our audience, and then we've got people watching on live stream too. So I'm glad you're here with us.
I'll also say, like, the veterans who are in this office and who have been here for a while, look out, because I see the coaching product, and I'm here at like 8 a.m., 7:45, and I'm seeing these young agents or newer agents that are showing up, and they're showing up, and they're showing up big time. And if we're not careful, man, this is going to blow up. But the numbers are showing everything. So, yeah.
Okay, Michelle had a question about the thing tonight, the School of Listings at 6 o'clock tonight in the Market Center.
Yeah, in the training room, it's a mastermind, right? Like, we don't have anything specifically scheduled out. So the people who are there, you're going to dictate what the conversation is going to be.
Take it wherever you want. That's what mastermind's about,
And so, what questions do you have about listings? What
challenges are you having when you're getting listings? Because Michelle's super experienced agent. This is the masterminding with people in the market. Yeah, I love that.
And when you mastermind with higher level thinkers, right? Like, again, what's mom saying? Show me your 5 closest friends and I'll show you who you're going to become.
That's right.
Come and see and listen to the people, man.
She'll be there.
Humble yourself and say, I don't know it all. I'd rather spend an hour
Yeah.
free, you guys. This is free. And I'm excited. So I can't wait to meet you tonight, Michelle.
Michelle's awesome.
But this is free education, you guys.
Yep.
This is so
Great stuff.
vital.
Yeah. And like yesterday at our team meeting that we did for July, I talked about the 6 personal perspectives, right? And those are so powerful. And so if you missed that, let us know and we'll do those again. But I mean, you think about the 80-20 principle, right? Knowing what really matters. And all this is ties with a kind of a sports theme, right? Like an athlete knows what his 20% is to achieve 80% results. It's how he eats, how he sleeps, how much water he drinks, how much he works out, what kind of weights he lifts. It's all of those things, and practice. They talk about John Wooden, right? John Wooden, UCLA girl right here. So I love John Wooden, right? Grew up going to basketball games and Laker games with my dad.
Northern California.
It's okay. We still love each other. but you think about how he would make every training start with putting on the socks.
Yeah.
Something so simple, because you put on the socks the right way to avoid blisters. And then, right, it's little things like that. But that's what playing to win is. That's why we have things like School of Listings or other things like energy matters.
Energy is real. You
It's
can
real.
feel it through people, right? Do you know, as a real estate agent, what your 20% is? Like the 5 things that Gary Keller says is
Exactly.
lead generate, lead follow up, write contracts,
right.
negotiate contracts, role play, script practice. That's
right.
it.
That's
Anything else is only going to make you like 20%.
Right. Exactly. So if you didn't catch that, it's lead generate, lead follow up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts, scripts, and role play. That's it. Everything else can be leveraged eventually. And if you have the end of your day and you hadn't done any of those, or you just did some of them, then you're not going to feel complete when you're really a corporate athlete, as Chris says, right?
Well, it's so funny because I think that's when you start to get exhausted and tired, right? Like, because you're chasing all these other things.
Yeah.
I remember when I read the MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, for the first time, right? Like, the one thing that stood out was you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Success leaves clues.
Right.
That's it.
Thank goodness, right? Thank goodness. You just need to know what the most important things are and do them, right? And surround yourself with good energy. All right, so Ben, so what does playing to win look like to you?
For me, it's easy. My values, right? Servant leadership. And that simply stands for the S, selfless, right? The other person's needs ahead of my own. That's how we serve, right? Education, right? You have to always continuously be seeking out education, whether it's you have to know the market. You also have to be looking at how you can streamline and improve processes, systems, and models to better serve your clients. R, reliable, right? Let your yes be yes. Do what you say. And if you don't, own up to it and say, okay, you know what, my apologies. How can I make this up to you? V, vision, right? People take the people's visions and show them how to achieve that and how to get there.
I love that.
A, adventure. I got to be fun. It has to be fun because there's so many things that can happen. And you guys are the emotional thermostat. So how you go, if you get upset at another agent for something that happened, guess what? Your clients are going to get upset. But if you control your emotions and actually walk through this and continuously keep that positive emotion going, that's how that's going to be. And this is where people will remember. And nurture. It's not about the business. It's just about the relationship building. I want to know your birthdays. I want to know your children's birthdays. I want to know your wedding anniversaries because I want to celebrate your life and just continuously seeking out. And then finally, the T, truth and trust. Speak truthfully so that you can earn their trust.
Okay, what did you just spell? Because I was trying to follow the letters.
Servant. Servant.
Okay, because first I thought we were going with vision, but adventure threw me off. And so, so servant. I love that. I haven't heard you say that before.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't heard you say that. I love that.
I share that with all my clients.
Yeah,
right?
I love that.
And then the listing appointments. And
say, you don't have to say all the things, but say the words one more time.
S, selfless. E, education. R, reliable. V, vision. A, adventure. N, nurture. T, truth and trust.
That's awesome. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. All right. What do you think agents that are listening need to be doing differently right now in this market?
It's real simple. Just buy into the systems and the models. if you're not bought in and you can't go into a gym
Mm.
and say, hey,
I got a membership.
I got one, cool. I'm getting healthy, I'm getting stronger.
Yeah.
No, you have to buy into the programs, right?
Yeah.
Like, and when I say buy in, it doesn't mean change who you are.
Yeah.
And what I mean is there's systems and models here that
Yeah.
will help you run your business like a business.
Yeah.
And if you don't buy into them, then you really don't have the right to expect the results.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking from experience, like 7 years of my real estate career, like I was just going out there and living
Shiny, go,
Yep.
right? Mm-hmm.
in that entrepreneurial, working in what I thought was my skill sets. And so when I would get good, I'd ride that roller coaster, go up and then come down and then go up, go down. It wasn't until about 2014, 2015 when I joined a team, and all of a sudden I started to use the systems and the models that I started to see my capacity to handle more business, my capacity to control my emotions more were actually a lot easier than me just going all over the place looking on how to handle this.
Yeah.
So buy
Okay.
in,
Buy in, plug in, buy in.
show up to
Trust
the
them up.
office.
Yeah, show up.
Show
There's
up.
a lot of fear and anxiety out there, I think, too. So I think it's a different challenge for people right now coming out of COVID, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's still out there. And so that's a real thing. And how do you go on and energy? I'm such a believer of energy. Like, we feed off each other's energies. And I know when I'm in here working, I just feed off the energy of the agents and vice versa, right? Like, we leave out there like, I can take it, whatever, right? And
Yeah.
the agents come visit us and like, oh my God, the energy is so good.
And that's the big thing I was going to say. Like, there's probably plenty of you guys who have recognized as soon as you walk into this office, it is a different vibe. It's that different energy that comes across. Why? It's because it's one, the leadership. It all starts to trickle down from the leadership, and then two, it's the agents here
Agents
who
are amazing.
really care, right?
Yeah, they really care.
Gary Keller created this amazing culture. If you don't understand, like it's in our, it's who we are. The what
Yeah.
W4?
Yeah, the Y4C, 2 T's.
There it is. Boom, right?
And E's, that we added E for equity. So it's an E's at the end.
Yeah. So again, that's the win-win. Always communicating. And I'll tell you, this office, one of the biggest hearts. Like, you walk, you see Mimi Bond, you see
Oh yeah.
Donna Andruck,
Yeah.
you see like Brendan, you see Rich Richard.
Yeah.
and-
Every day.
And then you got the staff like Melanie, Michelle, Ruth, productivity Melanie, right?
And we had just added a second one, Colleen. Yeah.
Yeah. So that if you come in, I'm talking about environment again.
Yeah.
Come in,
Surround
plugged
yourself,
in,
set yourself up for success.
because
Yeah.
this business can easily try to tear you down.
Is there, okay, so let's talk about buyers and sellers for a minute before we open it up. I just want to ask a couple more questions. So if you guys have questions, think about it, and I'll check the chat because I see there's some comments there. How are you preparing buyers and sellers to play to win in the market right now? What, are you doing anything differently, or let's talk about that for a minute.
Let me give you what probably is the most common thing that most people do. Oh yeah, you're looking to buy a house? Okay, yeah, I'll meet you at that house and I'll go show you. Stop that right now.
Try again, right?
Stop that right now. Like, if you got buyers, you guys understand that you are professionals and that you have a fiduciary duty to them. And the only way that you're going to fulfill that is by bringing them in for a buyer's consultation. That is what's going to separate you from 80% of the agents who are chasing after sales.
That's so true.
Be a leader.
Yeah.
Bring them in. Take 30, 40 minutes. And what I do is again, I've read the book, Creating Raving Fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what would I want? So like when I do a buyer consultation, I have a welcome with their name on the television screen. I want them to feel like, oh, wow, I'm important,
Yeah.
right? I have water, I have snacks already prepared for them on the table.
Nice.
And then I have a VIP form that I have them fill out, right? Birthdays, kids' dates.
I love that.
And then what's their favorite drink and what's their favorite snack. And I'll share with you guys what that's about in a little bit. But then it's finding out what's their motivation, what they're actually looking for, where they're at in their time. So be respectful of their time, right? Be respectful of your time. And then we share about the market, right? Like, so that there's an
First it's about
understanding.
them and then it goes to the market.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love
because
that.
if you have to give them an understanding of the market. Otherwise, that's where you go and show houses and you're like, if they don't know that you're gonna have to spend 30, 40,000 over a list price in a community,
Yeah,
they'll go in and say, oh, well, I'll do 10,000. And now next thing you know, 10,000 is big to them,
yeah,
but it's not gonna get them that house,
right. It's
right?
not gonna, they're not gonna be able to win the game of the moment, right?
Yeah, and vice versa. It may be a community where $5,000 is actually winning the bid, and you spend 20,000.
Yeah, right. So you
Think
got to
about
know
that.
it both ways, right?
Yeah,
You maybe didn't need to go that high, right? Exactly.
exactly. And so that's important.
So
And then
understanding the market, so understanding the person, right? By
understand
doing the
person.
needs analysis and then really understanding the market. And
Yes.
it's kind of micro, right? One neighborhood really could be 10,000 over and the next could be 5, right?
And again, I was shocked. Like if you look in Hutto, that's the case in Hutto, right? Like $6,000 over is usually going to
It's
win.
gonna get it.
But most people are thinking, oh, you gotta have to go 20, 30.
Interesting.
And when you save people money and when you care enough to take and give of your time,
Hmm.
then guess what? They become raving fans and they want to give you their friends, their coworkers. And that's what we're all striving for, referral-based business.
Yeah, I love it. We're about to see a lot of more listings. I've heard there's a lot of pent up listing inventory about to hit the market too. And I think that's, you just want to be prepared with your buyers for that too, of like, okay, there's going to be more inventory and you don't want them to overpay. And I think that's the kind of the conundrum that a real estate agent is in, is you want to get them the property and like because for a while there, man, you had to go, it was crazy, as high as you can go, right? Because that was the timing of that moment. And now prices have kind of, picked up, they've stabilized. It's not like they're not going down in value. It's just you're not seeing, because the increase has gone up so much already, right? But you also don't want them to overpay. So I think like, how would be a good way for people to understand and learn more about what's going in the market? I know it's off script, but
First and foremost, know the area that you want to work, right? Like, don't. The biggest mistake that I think a lot of people say is, I'll sell anywhere. And that's fine. That's
Yeah.
perfectly okay. But when you become an expert in a certain area, let's say Cedar Park, Leander, right? Like every morning you need to be on MLS. That's one of the first things that you should be doing, and saying what new properties have come on the market, what properties have come back on the market, how many active listings do we currently have,
yeah,
and what's the list price, the sold price, right?
there you go.
This is understanding and
Studying
being
it.
able to speak the language of real estate,
Yeah.
right? That's what separates you from somebody else. This
Yeah.
is the value that you bring versus somebody who says, yeah, I'll meet you at that house and I'll go show this.
Yeah.
And that's the
So true.
difference between showing somebody 5 houses and showing somebody 30, 40 houses and getting exhausted.
That is such a good point, right? Setting that professional expectation from the beginning. And I think that the clients will appreciate that. And if a client is not willing to come meet you in a professional environment and just wants to see the house, then yeah,
Think
that's
about it.
questionable. Like
Yeah.
how much is your time worth? And so, yeah, I love that.
Look, I know like sometimes we're all in different financial positions,
Sure.
But-
Or in our careers too,
Yeah.
right?
but the biggest thing that you can do is, if somebody's not willing to give you their time, why are you going to give them yours?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You
setting
know?
a standard. It's funny, I'll never forget, as a brand new agent, I was in the office and I was working in a cubicle and I overheard one of our top agents saying, hey, who's an up and comer? And I'm like, I'm right here. And it was like, it was on her listing. She didn't have time to show it. And I did meet him at the house, but I had a call with them ahead of time and I asked those questions and I found out they had a house they needed to sell and I knew it was the wife. I knew a lot about them before I even met them there. So we already built that relationship. Well, then as soon as, of course, if we showed that property, I said, okay, well, the first thing we need to do is I need to see your house, right?
Yeah.
And we sold their house and they bought a house with me. They didn't buy that house, but it was because I was prepared and I set myself up. So there's different variants of this. If you're like, well, right. And there's a safety factor too, guys. Let's not forget that one too. So please be smart. And this is a business and you have to pay attention to. So
Yeah, and one last thing, just on bringing people into the office. This actually goes for people who are leasing also,
oh, for sure.
and because I can tell you, I've probably turned 6, 7 people who were looking to lease into actually purchasing
Oh,
homes.
nice. Because you had the conversation and asked
Had
the
the
right questions.
conversations, right?
Yeah.
People that you'll be surprised at some of the beliefs that are out there. Oh, well, I'm looking to lease because I don't have 20% to put down. Okay, well, if there was a program that we could get you where you wouldn't have to be 20%, would that present a problem to you? Oh, no. Oh, well, I'm thinking of leasing because, well, that's just what my parents told me I should be doing.
Right.
And so having
That's a really good point.
conversations around that can change you from getting a $700-800 commission to an $8, 9, $10,000 commission.
Yeah. And getting them into home ownership, which is the most important thing, is it's like they get to build wealth, right? They get to use
Yes.
that money for their own. I mean, that's the most exciting thing. Okay, but before we move on, tell us why you ask about the snacks.
Snacks and drinks. Experience told me when I go out and show houses, usually after showing the second house, the client will tell me, hey, Ben, can we stop by a gas station and pick up some drinks and snacks? So what I have in the trunk of my car is a cooler. So when I know we're going out, I put their drinks that they like and their
Smart.
snacks. And after the second house, I say, hey, are you guys thirsty or hungry? Yeah. Pop open that. It's the power of moments, right? Experiences.
Wow.
Boom. Oh, you were Dr. Pepper. Oh, you were water. Oh, and here's the snacks. That's
I
these
love that.
moments that change. And I still get clients to this day who come to me, hey, Ben, do you still do the drinks and the snacks? I do, man. Yeah, it's part of just
Did
the
you
way
fill
that-
out the form? Yeah.
Right? But that's the difference between creating raving
That's
fans
elevated, darling. That's elevated.
and
Yeah.
just having
Yeah.
oh,
Transactional or whatever.
You did
Got it.
good. Thank you.
That's amazing. I
Yeah.
love that. That is really brilliant. Okay. Anything like okay, I'm gonna skip that one. I want to go to what are you doing that's really great in your opinion? Like what's really working for you? Now we didn't even talk about, you have a team now, you have your own team. I didn't realize you started on it or you went to
Yeah.
a team in 2015. I didn't realize that. So you've had your own team since when?
I let my mind get ahead of me in 2015.
Okay. All right.
So 2014, I joined the team.
Oh,
Did
14, you joined a team. Okay.
really, really good.
Okay.
People said, Ben, you should start your team. And
Yeah.
look, truthfully, I wasn't ready. And
Yeah.
and taking on a team, there's
You
a
gotta be ready.
lot to learn.
There is.
Right?
Mhm.
I wasn't ready, but I learned a lot of great things.
Yeah.
Um,
Leading others is very different than just leading yourself.
it truly is.
Yes, it is.
And having stuff written down in systems and models versus that model and system being in
Yeah.
your head,
Right.
completely different.
Yeah.
But here's the cool thing is I've made many, many mistakes in building this team up, right? But the fun part of it is I don't tear it all down. I've learned from the mistakes that I made.
Yeah.
And then when I start again, now I'm starting at a little bit higher level. And
Yeah.
I go and I make mistakes and that's
Yeah.
okay. And I tear those things down that didn't work. And that's where I've discovered, right? Like
Yeah.
culture really, really matters for
Yeah.
me. It's so important. You have to have people who are looking to do the same, right? You have to have systems and models, right? You got to be educated,
Yeah.
education forward. And then what values are you bringing to people?
Okay.
So
Well, I think your style, your leadership style is really cool. You attract kind of experienced agents from other companies. We just brought
Yeah.
another awesome guy, and Melissa's amazing. And yeah, you have Eric and you have other people as well that are awesome. But you have a real unique leadership style, is that you really want to grow your people. And I love watching you lead them. It's fun to watch you. You do a great job with that.
yeah, again, it's important to us, right? Like as somebody who grew up with a single mother, she taught me how to stretch a dollar. Didn't tell me how to make a dollar, but how to stretch a dollar, and to really,
That's
again,
important though.
it really
What you
is.
do with money and how you hold on to money is just as important as making the money.
And I remember being as a young man, and I carried this into my early 30s, that I would have thought I'd made it in this world when I made 6 figures and I got an offer from American Express. That was it.
It didn't matter which card level.
Didn't matter what car level, if I just got an offer from American Express.
That's awesome.
Well, obviously that has happened, and now I'm discovering wealth, right? Wealth
Yeah.
is different, and I think for us, like in my team, it's okay, if you don't own a house, let's get you to own your first house, right?
Yeah.
And so we start to build out plans into how to become a homeowner. And
Yeah.
then once you get your first home, then we have another plan that is like, okay, let's start looking at investment. Because if you're in real estate, one of the things that everybody should be doing is investing in
Yeah.
properties,
Yeah.
because you need those other streams of revenue.
Yeah. And if you have enough money down, if you put money aside, you can still make it cash flow right now, right? There's a
Yes.
lot of ways to do it. And like Mimi was just talking about, they've started investing a ton in San Antonio, right? It just depends, watching the market, knowing where to invest, and depending on how much money you have to put down, it's a limiting belief people have that they can't invest right now, right? Because of what's going on in the market. That's not true. It's just, you need to find the way to make it work for you, so that, think about somebody else making a payment for your
home.
exactly
It-
for your asset.
We call it the
Proverbial.
proverbial piggy bank, right? Like
There you go.
every year that your house grows in equity, that's money being put into a piggy bank. Every time
Exactly.
somebody is paying you rent to pay your mortgage, the principal is going into your piggy bank.
Mhm.
Why would you not be looking
Yeah.
to have these streams
And
of
you
revenue?
can start small, guys. You can start small. I mean, there's still some little deals out there, a little condo or something, right? There's lots of ways to do it. So, okay, last question. Then I would love to hear from our studio audience. And again, I'll check all those comments on Facebook right now. But when do you know you're winning, Ben Love? When do you know you are winning?
I would just say this is how I know, is that my clients, we do life together. That's it,
Mhm.
right? Like when people are calling me and saying, "Hey Ben, why don't you come hang out with us?" Or we're doing a barbecue, or they accept my invitation of, excuse me, they accept my invitation of, we do this thing that last Saturday of every month, I invite like two of my clients over to our house, and
Oh, fun.
we cook dinner together,
Oh,
right?
lovely. And just have nice experience together.
Experiences.
Yeah.
And that's when I know I'm winning. The money will show up, right?
Yeah.
When you treat people right, the money will show up. It will never, for me, it will never be about the money.
Yeah.
Like, people give me their friends, trust me with their friends, trust me with
Well, that's when you know
coworkers.
you're winning.
That's
when you
it.
know you're winning,
Yeah.
is because you have the relationships with your people, and then they're saying you have to meet Ben, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great question. Let's open it up. Jonna asks, what books or courses have been the most valuable to you?
So one of the big ones that is big in my point of life, right, is halftime, from success to significance.
Mhm.
Right? Okay, you've had success. Now, how can you make an impact in life, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was a big one.
I love that.
The Road Less Stupid. Oh,
Oh,
man.
that's a good one.
If you haven't read that book,
Mr. Cunningham.
get
Yeah.
that book, because it's not about uh, it's about making less mistakes.
Yes, with your money and your decisions. That's a really, The Road Less Stupid is so good. Keith Cunningham, Gary interviewed him last year, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was something, and it got out there, but it's on KW Connect. I think you can probably still, and it's one of the Think Like a CEO ones. If you go at one of the podcasts, if you go back and listen to it, he's the author of that book. And I read that after that as well. And it's such a well-written book about money and wealth. And, none of us ever learned that growing up, right? And so we make a lot of money, but that's why so many realtors and just business people don't have a lot of money, don't keep a lot of money. My husband and I have a joke. I say I make the money and he saves the money. So we're kind of keeping track how much I make compared to how much he saves. He does not go into Lowe's without a discount. I mean, yay for Klaus. But it's true. How you keep and what you do with your money is just as important as getting it, right? And so I think that's a great recommendation.
And then these are the three foundational books that, like, I build my whole business on. First one, Creating Raving Fans, right? It's all about not just doing your job, but going the extra step, right? How to create these experiences. Two, 7 levels of communication, law of reciprocity, right?
Yeah.
Just do things for people, not without any expectations of returns,
Right.
just helping people.
Yeah. Not attached to the outcome.
Yep.
Yeah.
And people will come and they want to help you. It's that simple, right? And then finally, the third one is The Carpenter. And the carpenter is just simply love, serve, and care. That's it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Take care of people. It's kind of like if someone asked me to describe you, that's what I would say about you, is that your name fits you so perfectly, that your name happens to be love. And love's one of my biggest ones. I think if I had to say my 3 core values, I'd say impact, making a difference, and kindness, teaching people you can win and be kind, and then just love. We need more love in our world, right? And I would say it's similar. You and I are very similar that way.
Yeah.
In what matters to us.
I mean, that's just the bottom line, right? Like,
that's amazing. I love that.
Love one another, right?
Yep.
And that's it. And when you have a humble and grateful heart, right? Like you start to understand that my opinion really doesn't matter, right? Like I respect you for your values.
It's ego.
Yeah. And that's it. When you have an ego, that's when people start to get offended, and that's when the division comes in, right?
Yeah.
There's a scripture that says, pride comes before destruction, but humility brings like the kingdom.
Yeah, I love
And
that.
so
you're a very humble guy. You're very humble. Is that by
it's
decision, or like have you chosen to be? Was that a choice you had to make, or have you always been a really humble guy? Because I really noticed that about you, that you're just very humble in all things. You really have that servant's heart. Why are you laughing?
That's because that's a lifetime of a praying mother who is just constantly praying for me. Just,
good job, Mama.
Are you going to church? Are you going to church? Are you going to church? And no, it wasn't always that way.
Well, people might not know your story, right? You have quite an incredible story.
But humility, I think, because I lead with my faith, right? Like having Christ in my heart, and my job is to be a reflection of Christ to the world. And so that's what he did. When Jesus came to the world, he came to serve. And that's what I want to do, and just love people.
That's your role model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
don't you and your wife do counseling for marriage counseling too?
Yeah, we're part of a marriage group called Real Marriage. Stands for Restore, Equip, Advance, and Lead. It's our mentors who started this nonprofit organization.
Very cool.
And the truth be told is I know a lot of people out there know that I call my wife the delicate flower, and they see some of these posts. But if it wasn't for a real marriage, we would probably be divorced, right? Like, but it's again, who are the people that are surrounding you? Again, environment, right? Like we got people that are in our corner that love us. And it's not, hey, please you love, but it's accountability love. Like, hey, get your stuff together, Ben.
Yeah, well, that's part of love, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what love is.
And I think a lot of times we get that mixed up, and we think, oh, well, love is just, oh, we got to accept and agree and all.
And never have an argument, or never this or whatever.
Be careful of those relationships where everything is perfect. Somebody is not speaking their mind.
That's right. That's right. Well, then I guess Klaus and I are doing pretty well, because we sure both speak our mind all the time. And next week it'll be 24 years that we're married. 24 years. I cannot believe it. And I was like 2 when we met. Well, hey, anybody else from our audience here? And then I'm going to check in the chat on Facebook, because I see we've got quite a few comments there. Any other question? Last question while we wrap it up. You can unmute yourself, or you can put it in the chat.
Yeah. And again, you guys, this is all about just iron sharpening iron, right? John Maxwell, 15 values of leadership, or some growth of leadership, again, talks about, being intentional about your growth versus accidental. Accidental growth, it's, hey, I'm going to learn from all my mistakes. Intentional growth is, I'm going to learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. Okay, real quick. Lots of comments here. Sharmila says, here to learn how to love on our clients from Mr. Love. And then Tamara said, I have them as my car as well. Do you really have a form? She asked. Do you really have a form that you have the clients sign out? Okay.
Yes.
And then she loves that idea. Eric says, my mom taught me the same thing. Ryan asks, what were the names of all the books? One more time.
Okay. So the names of the books were 7 Levels of Communication, Creating Raving Fans, The Carpenter, The Road Less Stupid, And what was the first one that I mentioned? Oh, halftime, from success to
halftime, yeah.
significance.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, we got those questions. Okay, and then Jennifer has one question, then we're gonna wrap it up. What you got, Jennifer?
Hey, Ben, I really appreciate all the servant's heart and all of that. And it comes through. It's not bullshit for sure. Pardon my language. But
Beep, beep, beep.
to some of the newer agents, definitely including myself, you talked about scripts, but reaching out to your sphere and building that sphere, can you kind of turn your head back to the mindset of a brand new agent where we want to be servants, and we certainly can practice that on a daily basis, but we're not where your sphere is at. So
Great.
How do you get there? How do you start? Yeah.
Great question, Jennifer. And yeah, you're exactly right. For me, it took me a long time to discover what it was. And I think like that's why these things are really great. For me, it was mindset. And I think what the biggest thing that most new agents come across is I don't want to be salesman-y. I don't. And we're taught, hey, ask for the business 5, 7 times, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of tough, right? And so when you're calling your sphere, the people who already know you and who already love you,
Even
right?
from another field, right, Jennifer? She comes from an HR background. Like she knows a lot of people, but this is like, she's coming up on her end of year one. But
So that mindset of like, man, I just had this real conversation with somebody, we really connected. And then now I'm starting to get nervous because now I got to ask for the business, right? And so it was just like, oh, then the mindset becomes, man, now they're just going to think that I asked all those questions just because of business, right? And I don't want nobody to run away from me when they see me in public, because this is what's going to happen. First and foremost, that's the furthest thing from the truth. Those are all lies. It's chaos and confusion that somebody is trying to keep you from actually what your true calling is. Understand that. But then I've figured out, okay, well, what's a way that I can call my people that it can be still a good conversation and still understand. And for me, this is just for me. There's many different ways that you can do this, right? But for me, I discovered I'm going to open up with the business question and then get out of it. So the script looks something like this. I'm going to call you, Melanie.
okay.
Ring, 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 ring.
Hello.
Hey, Melanie, how are you? This is Ben.
Oh, hey, Ben.
Hey, you got 2 minutes for me real quick?
Sure. Yeah, I'm in a hurry, but 2 minutes I got for you.
Perfect. Hey, well, let me get the business side out of it right now. I'm always looking to grow my business. And so do you know anybody like a family member or a coworker that's looking to purchase or sell within the next year or two?
Not that I can think of right this second.
Okay, well, hey, I appreciate you even taking the time for that. But now let's get down to the real reason for our call. Hey, I was looking on your Facebook and I seen that your son just graduated high school. Oh my gosh.
I know. We're so excited. He made it. I'm so excited.
Well, that's congratulations to you and Klaus, man. That was completely amazing. And then I just have a regular conversation with people.
Yeah.
The business side of it is out. Remember, the whole thing is we want to stay top of mind.
Though. Aren't you professional? You're just doing what you do, right? It was like if you had a spa, like, hey, who do you know? I just got a great new masseuse person at the spa. Who do you know? I'm growing my people want to help you if you have the relationships. That's what I'm hearing you say. Exactly. People want to help you.
And the other part of it is I think a lot of times when we're making calls, we feel like we're not bringing any value.
Yeah.
Look, go on the MLS, find a great house, like present, hey, I'm calling you because this is the house of the month that I found that this could be a really great investment deal. Who do you know that's interested in this, right?
Yeah.
There's that, and just you got to find the value that you want to bring to somebody. But that's what I would say. Lead with it. If you're somebody like me who is really relational, lead with it first, get it out the way, and then jump into your regular conversation. And then that's how you stay top of mind, because that's the whole key. DTD2, right? Stay top of mind so that when they are ready or they do know somebody, you're constantly on their mind.
Yeah.
Versus not talking to them at all. No secret squirrel agents.
No secrets. Hey, you guys. Well, Ben, this was so fun, and our time is up. And I'm sad that our time is up because you and I could go a lot longer. I had a
All
little
day.
technical. Thank you to everybody who, our audience here who put up with my little technical issues today and for finding the right link. And then those of you on live stream, we had a lot of guests watching live. This will be recorded and this will be saved in our. I saw Jennifer wants to go to. Yeah, I love that.
FC,
Go
yeah.
FC. She's a big fan too. In our library on our KW Austin Northwest page too. If you're in this office or if you want a link to this recording, I'm happy to send it to you. So next week we have Laurelyn Wostocki.
You guys show up. She is amazing. And again, the most unassuming agent out there, but will blow you away.
Yeah, she's a very, very experienced agent that joined Keller Williams last year from another brokerage. And she is farm and ranch, luxury, you name it, and is one of the most, I got this humble theme going in July. I like it.
It is.
Because she's one of those, right? She's very grounded, very relational. We're going to have a great conversation next Wednesday at 10 o'clock Central Time. See either on my Facebook or we'll see you in the Zoom room. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Melanie, for having me. Love you guys. Plug into the office.
Ben Love, Dr. Love. Now you know why I call him. Yay, the crowd goes crazy. See it at the soccer stadium.
Dale. Hey.